Hi there, Adam Whitty here, CEO of Advantage Media Group, author of Book the Business with my good friend Charlie Epstein, the 401k coach, CEO of Epstein Financial Group. And Charlie, you and I have worked together for a long time. You're the author of 2 books with us, Save America Save, Paychecks for Life, and you're a marketing maven. And you introduced a concept to me a number of years ago that I think is so powerful. It's powerful for advisors, but it's really powerful for anyone that wants to be an author. You call it the line of super credibility, and I'm hoping you can really expound on that for our viewers.
Sure. So the big idea in this series is thinking about credibility. So if you think about it, whether you're an advisor in the 401k industry, whether you're an advisor in the wealth management industry, or whether you're an entrepreneur trying to build your credibility, build your business, let's break this down. I'm going to use the advisor community as an example. So I want you all to think about when you first started in business as an advisor, you had no credibility.
None.
Brand new.
None.
Nobody knew who you were.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared. You didn't even know what you were doing. But if you think about it, what did you do for the next 1, 5, 10, 15, or if you've been around as long as I have, Adam, 35 years, you have worked diligently to increase your credibility in the marketplace. So if you're a 401k advisor, what does that mean? Perhaps you've gone out and gotten your AIF designation, your QKA designation, maybe you got your CLU, CHFC, CFP designation in the financial services, insurance industry.
That's right.
You went to conferences.
That's right.
You've become the top 100 or the top 10 or the #1 advisor with your broker dealer. You've got plaques on the wall. You've got accolades. Perhaps as some of our 401k coach members recently were the top 100 in their area in Financial Times. All of those efforts are to do what?
To be credible.
To build your credibility in the eyes of who? The consumer, the market that you're calling on.
And you know, the thing that's so frustrating to me about it is that all of these things that you just described, the prerequisite for all of them is time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, and if you're a young person entering the financial industry,
Like Adam.
you gotta wait.
Yeah.
You know, well, sorry kid, you're gonna have to pay your dues 10, 15, 20 years from now. Maybe you can be like me. It's not an exciting proposition.
Right. So if you're a young advisor, if you're somebody young just getting started and you're thinking, how can I crack that credibility line? Or if you're a person like myself who's been around a long time, but you're still trying to do that.
How do you raise it?
How do you raise it? So how do you go above the line of credibility? And the other thing, Adam, is if you've got that designation or you're a member of a retirement planning group, right? In the 401k industry, there's certain groups, right? And you talk about that. Your competition has the same designation,
That's right.
the same tools, they're part of the same group. You're all walking and competing for the same business.
You're equally credible.
Totally. You've actually gone nowhere in terms of being credible because you're only as good as the next credible person next to you.
Right.
So when I met Adam a few years ago and started thinking about writing this book, I had no idea what was going to happen. I didn't imagine, the book was going to make me more credible than somebody else until I started handing the book out. And what I noticed, Adam, was when I walked into a first meeting, or as we've talked about in the series, I sent a book out in advance, or somebody said, "You're an author?" So what happens is you go from being credible to above the line of super credibility instantaneously. And let me share an example with you about how powerful this is. So at the beginning of the year, I was at a conference in January in California. This conference is known as the Abundance 360 Conference, and it's delivered by a gentleman by the name of Peter Diamandis, who happens to be a super credible individual.
Founder of the X Prize.
Father of the X Prize technology. Well, the first night of the event, my wife and I happened to be in the lounge. We're at the Beverly Hills Four Seasons Hotel.
Love it.
In Beverly Hills. Fantastic hotel. And we're sitting in the lounge, and there's a couple sitting next to us. So we get to chatting, and a gentleman next to me says, I said, "Well, what do you do?" And he says, "Well, I own a company, a manufacturing company." And I find out it just happens to be an hour down the road from where I am. And he says, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm known nationally as the 401k coach." He goes, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "Well, I've written 2 books, Paychecks for Life and Save America Save." And he looks at me, he said, "You've written 2 books?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You know, I might have one of my books with me I might be able to give it to you. Adam, of course, I have a box of books in my hotel room. And later that night, when we were done, I went up to my room, got a book, wrote a little note, said, Bob thought you might enjoy, brought it to the concierge. It's the Four Seasons Hotel. I wish Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman, where they shot Pretty Woman.
She didn't appear, though.
Well, I was hoping she could deliver the book. But anyways, the concierge wasn't bad looking. And had him hand deliver the book to the man's hotel room. How powerful is that?
Very.
You can't do that with a business card. You can't do that with a brochure. You can't do that with a designation.
That's right.
None of that. Now, conference is 2.5 days. Flash forward, I don't see this gentleman. There's 250 people at the conference. Last night of the event, my wife and I are coming back from dinner. We're walking through the lobby of the hotel, and out of the lounge appears magically this gentleman and his wife. He sees me. He makes a beeline to me, and he goes, "I've been looking for you," just like that. He just starts going, "I've been looking." I said, "You've been looking for me?" He said, "I read your book." And I thought to myself, what have you been doing for the last 2 days? I said, "You read my book?" And his wife is standing behind me, and she says, "I think we're going to be seeing a lot of you." Well, that's the good part of the story, because I'm excited. By the time I get back to Massachusetts, the CFO has already called my office and sent us all the information on their 401k plan. And we find out they're with a record keeper that, let me just say, we're not going to have any problem competing against. So I call the CFO up and I say, "Oh, by the way, where are you in the process of deciding what you're going to do?" And this is what he says to me. He says, "Well, we've narrowed it down, Charlie, to this platform called America's Best 401k Plan. Have you heard of it?" And Adam, I'm pretty well versed. And as he's saying this to me, I'm on my iPad typing up America's Best 401k Plan, because I've never heard of it.
Yep.
And as I bring up their site, who pops up on the site?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. There's a 6.5-minute video of the giant walking up a staircase, looking in the camera and telling the business owner how their 401k plan has been raped and pillaged by the industry.
Mind you, Tony Robbins is a man with great credibility, but none in the financial
Doesn't matter.
business.
He just wrote a book, The Art of Money.
That's right.
He's now gotten into the financial services industry. Those of you that are viewing this know that. Maybe you haven't run into him yet, but here's the point.
He's become a giant.
He is a giant, super, super credible. So let me ask you a question.
How do you compete with a giant?
How do you compete with a giant? How do you compete with a Tony Robbins? Well, you become an author. You become the giant in your industry, in your marketplace, in the eyes of the consumer. And we won that business because I was the author of a book, Save America Save, The Secrets of a 401k Plan, and also Paychecks for Life. And here's the funny part of the story. We're closing in on closing this piece of business, and I had a phone call with the CFO and the owner of the company, and they'd called me up to ask a few more questions about it. So it's like close, like, I think we've got the sale, we don't have the sale. And the CFO says, "Oh, by the way, Charlie, Tony Robbins called us up and said that he's going to come out and meet with each of our employees and teach them how to create Paychecks for Life." And I thought for a minute, I said, is this a joke or is he serious? And instantaneously I said to him, "Well, Bob, let me tell you something. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a fire pit in the back of your manufacturing facility, and I'm going to have your 85 employees walk across hot coals, and they don't have to go to Hawaii with Tony to do it." And we all had just this great laugh, and of course we won the business.
Yeah.
But you know, the other part about it is being an author, it's just fun. People want to engage with you. It's just so powerful. So hopefully what you're listening to and realizing is the big idea is right now, if you're an elite 401k advisor, if you're a brand new 401k advisor, doesn't matter where your status is, you're just at the line of credibility or you're trying to get to the line of credibility. You want to have the ultimate unfair advantage and instantly go above the line of super credibility. There's only one thing.
You've got to be an author.
You've got to be an author. It is the absolute game changer. So let me tell you how we can help you do that, get you instantaneously to that line of super credibility. And
Two ways we can do
paths.
it. Yep,
Yep, we have
that's
two
right.
options for you. We have here at the 401k Coach our Accelerator Author System. If you go to www.saveamericasave.org, we're going to show you how within 60 days we can speed you to being the author of a book, a co-author with me of the book Save America Save. And when you go to our site, you'll see other authors around the country who are doing this very, very successfully. And we encourage you to go there, lock in your territory. You'll have a book within 60 days. The other option is if you want to write your own book from scratch,
That's right.
then you want to go to AdvantageFamily.com, and Adam's company will take you through the process of writing your own book as well. Either way, powerful options. What we're here is we want to get you above that line of super credibility as fast as possible. So again, SaveAmericaSave.org or AdvantageFamily.com, and we can get you to being an author almost instantaneously.
Yeah, that's the key, is to hyper grow your financial practice, to dominate your market. Your credibility has to be higher than everyone else, and a book can pop you right up there.
Instantaneously, and it's also a multiplier. If you've listened to the other segments in our series, you can just see the magic. It's a magic multiplier in terms of what you can do with the book. So look forward to talking to you and helping you become the super credible authority, expert, and celebrity in your marketplace. Big idea.